Okay, so we're looking at definitions of self-love. Let's move on to the next one. It means not settling for less than you deserve. It means what? Not settling for less than you deserve. Self-love means not settling for less than you deserve. This is akin or tied to self-worth. You know, our last class, we're talking about self-worth, right? So, knowing your self-worth helps you to love yourself appropriately. Because then you know what you deserve. Again, you do not deserve, and you know people who stay in abusive relationships? You know what abusive relationships are? People who stay in abusive relationships do so more often because they lack self-love. They lack self-love. The man is beating you. Huh? The man is abusing you psychologically and physically. The bad one is even when you're not married. He's just a boyfriend, or he's just a fiancé, and he has already started slapping your face. Do you understand? It's an abusive relationship. A relationship where she's tearing you down. The only thing she's doing is adding worry to your life. She doesn't use her mouth. She doesn't slap you because she's not as strong as that. But she uses her mouth to tear you down. And you're not yet married. So why are you in the relationship? It's because you are settling for less than what you deserve. Because you think that you cannot do better. Hello? Tied to self-worth, right? Because if you have proper self-worth, then you are able to love yourself properly. Am I making sense to you? Okay. Another definition. Are you here? It means accepting yourself as you are in this very moment for everything that you are. I like this. It doesn't mean complacency. Hello? Excuse me. It doesn't mean complacency. It means where I am now, I appreciate myself for what I am doing. I appreciate the status that I have now. I appreciate the person that I am now. I don't loathe myself. I don't hate being me. Oh yes, I'm not where I want to be yet. Right? I am not intellectually the person I want to be yet. I might not be financially the person I want to be yet. But I do not live a miserable life now. I still appreciate myself. I appreciate my effort. I appreciate the things I've been able to achieve now. They say that is self-love. Accepting yourself as you are in this very moment. It means accepting your emotions for what they are and putting your physical, emotional, and mental well-being first. So even if your emotions, right, is not right, hello, as in it's not perfect. Even if the way you think is not perfect yet, but you being able to see yourself the way you are, that I am not perfect, but still be able to love yourself. So those are two different things. Some people know they are not perfect, and because they love themselves, they strive to become better. Remember the first definition? Actions that support the growth, right? So because they know they are not where they want to be yet, the reason they are able to strive for more and do so effectively is because they love themselves. If you are not where you want to be, emotionally, physically, spiritually, and you loathe yourself because of that, it does not give you energy. So self-love propels you forward. Hello? Hello? Now, self-love can mean something different for each person because we all have many different ways, right, that we take care of ourselves. But figuring out what self-love looks like for you as an individual is very important. It's an important part of your mental health. So, what does self-love mean to you? Now, I'm going to run through a number of things that self-love means to different people, right? Maybe you'll find some things that it means to you, and maybe you won't find in the list that I have here. Maybe you can draw up your own list. Hello? Yes, draw up your own list of what it means. Because from our first definition, what did I say our first definition is? It is a state of appreciation for oneself that grows from actions that support our physical, psychological, and spiritual growth. So that state of appreciating yourself, right, that stems from the actions that you take. See why I said by the time I move forward, you will understand better. So what does self-love mean? Let's look at them. What does self-love mean to you? Talking to and about yourself with love. Talking to and about yourself with love. You know that oftentimes there are people who, the way they talk to themselves, right, they will not accept for another person to talk to them like that. And they will not even talk to another person like that. For example, you make a mistake. Somebody makes a mistake and he goes into a fit of rage. He becomes angry with himself. Then he says things like, "You are stupid." Even when he's not saying it with his mouth loudly, he's saying it in his mind, "You are stupid. That's why your life is the way it is. You can never get anything right." You're talking to yourself in a way that if somebody else, if I look at you and I say you are stupid, you will feel very bad. You will not accept it. Well, of course, some people accept it. Somebody who has poor self-esteem accepts that, right? But naturally, if you are okay, somebody looks at you and you make a simple mistake and the person says you are very stupid. You think the person is being harsh, right? You think the person is not being reasonable. Why are you calling me a stupid person? Simply because something fell from my hand and it broke. You can't something fall from your hand and break too. That's what you will respond to. Some of us who are balanced, even if somebody breaks something, we realize quickly that even me, I can break it. Right? It's human for that to happen. So you don't talk harshly to the person. But some people actually talk harshly to themselves. They talk down on themselves. You are worthless. You can't achieve anything that is good. Look at you. You don't have any gifts. No skills. Right? People do that. Talk to themselves like that. Now, talking to and about yourself with love is one way to show self-love. Prioritizing yourself. I talked a little bit about this. Right? Moi. Very important. Giving yourself a break from self-judgments. Right? Blaming yourself for things that are happening in your life. Almost like the first one. I'm just running through it. Maybe you find something there that's something that is trusting yourself. That's believing in yourself. Believing that you can get it done or you can do right. Being true to yourself. Not lying to yourself. Telling yourself the truth. Right? About the states where you are now. And the things that you need to do to move forward. That's self-love. Being nice to yourself. This is really, really key. A lot of people know how to be nice to other people. They don't know how to be nice to themselves. If I ask you now, how many of you have ever taken yourself out on a date? As you just decide that, you know what? I need to take myself out this weekend. It doesn't matter where you do present. It doesn't have to be anything, 5-star anything. But when was the last time that you actually thought and said, you know what? We do things for ourselves. Sometimes we do it like automatically, right? But when was the time that you ever actually thought about yourself and said, you know what, I deserve this, so I'm going to get this, or I deserve a break. Let me go and rest somewhere if you can afford it. Or I just made money now. So instead of thinking about every other person, I deserve to get something from this money. Men are guilty of this. Men are guilty of this. You do everything for the woman, right? Do everything for the children. But how many times do you actually, from the little that you are making, do you actually think about yourself? There are times when me and my colleagues have started saying, you know what, all this money that we are making, how much are we actually spending on us? I went to one birthday party the other day. A family friend invited us. And men were just talking, and I'm not a loud talkative, so I just keep quiet and listening to them. And they even talked about me. This guy, they talk, and that kind of thing. Very quiet, say this kind of person, they can't even read their mind. They were just talking. They were not people that I know. They know the person that I went to the party. And And one of them, I think one woman came inside. When she came inside, she didn't come with her husband, she came with her husband. He's a Yoruba person, he doesn't know that I speak Yoruba. And then he said something like, Aisha, Obirilawasi. You know what that means? If you understand Yoruba, it means that this world, this life is like women. We came to just serve these people, these women. Now, what he did was that he compared, as the man and the woman were coming, probably he looked at how the man was dressed and everything, and looked at how the woman was dressed and decked up, and he just, while they were, hey, you're welcome, me, he just said, I heard him say it. So men, to some extent, are guilty of it. Be nice to yourself. One day, just tell yourself, you know what, as I'm buying, and there's nothing wrong with buying things for your wife, and for your children, but I'm saying that, think about yourself also. That's one way to show love to yourself. Remember the definition. Self-love is a state of appreciation of oneself and taking actions that don't support your growth, right? Or how do they put it again? Okay. Being nice to yourself. Setting healthy boundaries. Very important. Setting healthy boundaries. We'll talk more about this later on. Setting healthy boundaries. Let me skip that quickly. We'll talk more about it. Forgiving yourself when you fail. Some people find it very difficult to forgive themselves. And when they find it very difficult to forgive themselves, they find it difficult also to forgive others. Remember what I told you about the words of Jesus Christ? Love your neighbor as you love yourself. And loving yourself is the premise, right? The base that you start from to love your neighbor. So if you cannot forgive yourself, then you can't forgive others very easily. Most people that have a problem with unforgiveness, right? Check it. They themselves are unable to forgive themselves. So forgiving yourself, one way to show self-love to yourself. Listening to your body. Listening to your body. Say, what does this mean? Knowing when your body has had enough. Many of us are guilty of this. Even me. Yes. Knowing when your body has had enough. Healthy people die of stress. Yeah. Very healthy guy. Nothing wrong with him. And then the next morning he has a heart attack and he's dead. Because he doesn't sleep. Doesn't sleep well. Doesn't eat well. He's fasting for Jesus. Yeah. That's not knowing when you're not listening to your body. Not knowing when your body. I had a friend then when we were much younger. This guy said he wanted to fast for 7 days. And I'm tired. Fasting for 7 days. If you want to, can fast for 40 days. But know when your body is talking to you. Know when your body has had enough. So now, he's my friend. We were growing up, and he's a pastor now. And he said he was fasting for 7 days. I was in the choir, we were singing in the rehearsing, and then all of a sudden I look at the door of the church, and my friend is doing like this. And he's holding the door, and he fell down. Wow, he grabbed it. By the time we rushed, I dropped the mic and I rushed to him. He was vomiting green stuff from his mouth. I'm serious, there was green vomit on the ground. And they had to rush. We had to put him in the church bus and take him to the hospital. Where they quickly put drip on his body and we're giving him fluids. They had to bring things for him because he was dehydrating and he was dying. He was going to die. Not just kids. He was going to die. Right? That's extreme. But some of us subtly do that to ourselves. We subtly kill ourselves. Hello? By not resting the way we are supposed to rest. By realizing when our body is saying, you know what, you need to take a break. You walk. Self-love. Listen to your body. Let me not dwell on that. But like I said, I'm running through them. You will find yourself there. If you don't find yourself, make your own list. Taking breaks from work, which is basically what I've spoken about, right? Taking breaks from work. Putting the phone down. And connecting to yourself or others or doing something creative. This has become the albatross of many of us. This has become a huge problem in the life of many of us. Learning to divorce yourself from your phone from time to time is one way that you can show yourself that you love yourself. Eating healthily and sometimes indulging in your favorite foods. Yes. Not eating only vegetable every time. Eat such a way that your body is healthy, right? And sometimes be able to enjoy yourself. So here they're trying to balance it. Because eating healthy is good, is you showing love to yourself. But refusing to enjoy yourself from time to time, right, is also not showing love to yourself.